Yeah, I saw the Facebook thing. If you said,
Here we are,
yeah,
the Metal
hello.
Voice live with the one and only Mr. Joshua Wood from MetalRules.com. Joshua, what is happening?
Just enjoying a beautiful weekend and enjoying the incredible amount of new releases that are coming out. It's overwhelming.
Too many. Today, and before I get started, I just want to, advise everybody that we're on. It's like a 2 minute thing here. I mean, not even less than 2 minutes. I just want to close some stuff, and so I have full concentration on what I'm saying or doing. All right. So, today on the show, we are going to talk about a few things. I thought it'd be a good idea to, group a couple of albums together. Hello, Tom. So Tom says hello. Tommy boy, what's going on? I know, Josh. We were supposed to do this 30 minutes after, and there's the time changes and all this stuff going on today with the daylight savings, and I have an interview afterwards. I know you got stuff to do. The kids are screaming in the background.
Yep.
But you know what? Let's just do this now. It doesn't matter. People can watch it either now or they can watch it later on. It's all good. So, today on the show, Metallica. Oh, yeah. They got the remastered version of And Justice for All. Comes in like 1,000 different CD formats. We also have, of course, Ashes of Ares coming out very soon. Well of Souls. And the first one we're going to start off with is Accept. Accept. It's symphonic. It's symphonic terror. I'm not sure if you've heard it complete, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know you're a huge symphonic fan, right?
Oh yeah, it's just so good. I mean, I love Accept. I love symphonic metal. So together, they're perfect.
All right. So let me just set this up for you, okay? On November 23rd, Nuclear Blast, fans can expect a unique Accept show shot on August 3rd, 2017 at the legendary Wacken Open Air. 80,000 people. It's going to be a DVD, CD. It's in 3 parts. Part 1 is 5 songs of just the band by themselves playing live. Part 2 is Headbanger Symphony, another 5, 6 songs of Wolf Hoffman's solo album with the orchestra, of course. And part 3 is Accept with orchestra. So, what
Yeah.
did you think? Tell me what you thought of the whole thing.
Well, I love it. I love the concept, and like you said, broken into the 3 parts makes it really digestible. You've got classic Accept, and then you've got basically cover tunes, right? 5 or 6 cover tunes with Wolf Hoffman from his recent classical solo album, and then it all comes together for the last half of the show. And I thought it was just a great show.
Yep, yep. I mean, do you think? I mean, okay, I love the idea of live, right? Because I love the idea of live plus an orchestra. It just enhances the songs, those classic songs that we know and love. What did you think about the enhancement portion of
Really well done, really well done. And there's a great history in rock and metal with bands doing stuff with a symphony orchestra dating back to '68, Deep Purple, right?
it? Yes.
Concerto. And then you follow through, and it just
So
all the big
Moody Blues, right?
blues, yeah, for sure. And then you had Kiss did it, Metallica did it, I was surprised it took Accept so long to get around to doing one, but it works perfectly for them.
Yeah. And what I loved is, so of course you have the live Accept songs, a lot of the new album, right? You have
Yeah.
Wolf doing this again, like I said, part 2, and then part 3 is songs like Princess of the Dawn that already had the vibe, that sort of symphonic vibe or those classical scales, and it fits well because you're taking symphonic and you're taking that classical scales of the guitar, and it just works perfectly. What were your thoughts on that?
Oh, I agree. Some of those songs are just born to have the string backing and stuff like that, the violin or guitar interplay. And in terms of set lists, which you alluded to, I thought it was great that they didn't just do old Accept songs. They did a lot of the new stuff as well. I was surprised to see songs like Kool-Aid on there
Yeah.
and some of their newer classics like Teutonic Terror. So it wasn't just heavy old nostalgia. It's like, yeah, we can do these new songs and reinterpret them and have fun with them.
And also I noticed that they have their Shadow Soldier, which is part of the symphonic part of the
Yeah.
album, Stalingrad, and there's something about war and symphony. I don't know what it is, but there's a sort of dramatic element to it where you put war and symphony and it works well. Shadow Soldier being a slow song, I guess
Yeah.
and of course Stalingrad being more of a rocker, right?
Oh, yeah, it just blends perfectly. Some of them, like for example, the Metallica S&M one, it didn't blend that well. There was too much going on. Whereas with the Accept Symphonic Terror, it just they accentuate each other very nicely. So there's room for all the instruments to have their space, and no one's overplaying too much.
Exactly. That's what it is. It's kind of like putting keyboards to these popular metal songs. Like if you put keyboards to Balls to the Wall or Teutonic Terror. Now here's the big ones. Teutonic Terror and Balls to the Wall are real hard metal songs. So you got to
Yeah.
be very careful on how you put that. It sort of lurks in the background. It's not in the forefront. It lurks in the background and it enhances these classic songs. You could play these songs on acoustic guitar, and because they're such strong melodic songs, it works. Agree?
Oh yeah, completely agree. I thought I can't say enough good stuff about this record, and I'm a big fan of the symphonic records. And the Germans especially love their symphonies. If you look back, Doro, Halloween, Rage, Powerwolf, Blind Guardian, Mekong Delta, they've all done these symphonic albums, the same sort of thing. And now Accept gets to do it, a monster 2 hour show in front of 80,000 people. What could be better?
Yeah. The only thing is, for me, I got to say that, like, when I watch Wolf, I've seen it at Wacken when they actually perform this. It's more
Oh,
of a visual thing to see Wolf play. But when you hear it on record, I would say the only sour point for me is, you know, I could hear it once, Wolf playing with the symphony, but it's more of a visual thing for me. So it would be more of a DVD thing for me than it would be an audio, because you see the orchestra, you see Wolf playing, getting into it. So to me, that's the DVD aspect of it that I think I would lean more towards than listening to it on a CD. What do you think?
yeah, I think so because it's just amazing to see all those people on stage, and then you have your multi-camera angles, and it's all HD. Especially the Vakken shoots are all fantastic these days. So it's just a little more interesting. Sitting and listening to it's neat, but yeah, being there and or seeing it on your big screen would be the tops. So I'm looking forward to the DVD for sure.
Yeah. So there you have it. That's the first album off of our list. Scratch, scratch, scratch. That
Yeah.
is Symphonic Terror by Accept from their 2017 Vakken show on DVD and CD coming out on November 23rd, I believe, around there. The next one on the list, and I'll put a little picture for this that you probably can't see, it's Ashes of Ares, Well of Souls. So I had Matt Barlow on the show not too long ago. We spoke about the album, we spoke about his tour, about the whole making of the album. But first things first, what did you think about, him? It's a second album. It's coming out November 9th or this week sometime. What did you think about the album?
Rock solid, really good. The first one didn't catch my ears much, but this new one's definitely stronger. Songwriting, performances, everything. It's like the trio is kind of working together a little better now.
Yeah, just to correct you, I think they lost the drummer on this one. It's not the trio. It's just Vidal's. That's he's just doing the
Okay.
guitar work. It's
Oh, I
Freddie
thought.
Vidal. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Freddie Vidal's. He's the guitars, and the guest appearances is by Van Williams from Nevermore on drums, and Jonah Weingarten from We Are Sentinels on keyboards, and I'm assuming Freddie's playing the bass too, and of course Matt Barlow on vocals. It's all
Awesome, of
good. It's
course.
all good, Josh. It's all good.
Yeah.
A little correction. It's all good. Because yeah, and the first album it was a trio, and you were right about that. I mean, this is what I thought about this album, and I'm a huge Iced Earth fan, a huge Matt Barlow fan. I thought this was darker, brutal, a lot more brutal, layers and layers and layers of vocals from the gutter, like the low gutter, to the screaming falsettos, to
Yeah.
just his soulful voice, and he's got that soulful element. He's going from gutter to screaming to soulful, and he's doing it throughout the album, and it's multi-track on the vocals. Freddie's doing an excellent job on the guitar work, at least for me. I'm a big fan, so it's easy for me to like this, but it took me multiple listens. I had to listen to this at least 10 times before I really appreciated the writing of the musicianship, the songwriting, the vocals, and it's got a very spiritual element to it in regards to the lyrics. I don't know if you felt the same way or not.
Well, to your first point about the multi-part vocals, yeah, I mean Barlow, his range is as strong as it's ever been. He hits the high, he hits the lows, and his classic mid-range in there. So really, it was a vocalist album. There's a lot going on. It's a showcase of his talent for sure. And as for the lyrics, I've only had a quick pass through it, so nothing impacted me immediately. But with time, you say it's a grower, and I'm sure I'm going to get into it and enjoy what he has to say as an artist.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll just quickly end off on this, and consuming the man. I'm just going to tell everybody my favorite songs off this album. Consuming the Mana, which is a nice little intro, not too long, as we hate those long intros, and just brutal in your face. The Alien, which is, think about Jesus. It's about Jesus. And you don't notice because you don't really know what Barlow's talking about because the way he sings. But when you really listen to the words, it's like the song either like Jesus as an alien, sort of that analogy. Unworthy is an excellent track. Let All Despair is like super melodic. The vocals are just insane. In the Darkness, again, he's got that Paul Stanley sort of sound that we all know. And Spirit of Man, Time Traveler is like super catchy. I love it. And You Know My Name, which is the bonus track, and it's probably one of the best songs on the album, but it's a bonus track. What's up with that? What's up with that?
Yeah.
It's bizarre. But anyways, if you're a huge Barlow fan, this is definitely something for you. And if you're not, and you've never heard him before, if you're, like you said, a fan of vocals, if you want to learn how to sing, well, this would be a good instruction manual.
Oh,
For
definitely.
that. So Ashes of Airy, Well of Souls. All right, so let's go to our third one. We scratched that one off. Rip. Okay, so now we're going to go to And Justice for All.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Give me some background on the production of And Justice for All in the past.
Well, it's a tough one. You've got the professional and the personal. So we'll go with the professional. Kind of a lot of people, I would say the vast majority of people were not happy with the production back in '88 on Metallica's fourth album. And there's been a huge underground movement that's been going decades now to say this could be so much better. And now they've had opportunities and chances, and for whatever reason, the band has not admitted that they don't like it, and they've said we're not going to redo it. They're really digging their heels in on this one, which brings us up to kind of this new 30th anniversary box set.
And Josh, like you said, there's actually a copy floating around there with the actual bass parts either added by the band or added by someone else. That's circling the web.
There's a bootleg out there. It's called And Justice for Jason. And
Yes.
some musical audio engineer went and added the bass and boosted it up, and you can go and buy it. I don't endorse buying bootlegs, but for those diehard fans, it may be interesting to surf online and see what's out there that exists. And it's just a new interpretation, and by all accounts, people are loving it.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm a big fan, of course, and Justice for All. I'm holding up this. You can't see this, but I'm actually holding up the 3 CD set.
Oh yeah.
I didn't buy the 1,000 CD set. I know that I have a friend K-Man who did, which looked pretty interesting too. What I loved about this, I didn't find that the remaster was so great. Okay, the song, the original album, I didn't find it was so great, but I did like the live version, the shows. I know there's something like 7 or 6 live shows. This one had a really great live show. Really captures the band. The production's pretty good. And then here's the kicker. There's the demos and rough mixes. And guess what? Guess what, Josh?
Rough mixes.
There's bass. There's bass in the rough mixes.
Oh.
I mean, okay. So these guys come out with the deluxe edition, which has something like 8 CDs, all kinds of bootlegs and rigs. But they couldn't have come out with a 9th CD with a remix with the bass. I mean, what's up with that?
I like the one version that people are waiting 30 years to hear, and it's not in the set.
I think it's 2 reasons here. I mean, there's 2 thoughts here. I mean, in terms of strategy, they know people want this. Are they waiting to re-release it again, make another $100, or they just want to stick it to the fans, saying, no, we're not going to change it. This is what it is, and that's that. I don't know. I don't know what their thought is on this.
I think it's not number one. Metallica Machine has more money than they know what to do with, so they're not just trying to milk it for $100. If they were going to do it, they could have done it at the 20th anniversary, 25th, 30th. Lars was just on one of the popular social metal websites recently, and he dug his heels and said, we're not changing it. That's the way it is. We did it. We like it at what it is at the time. And I have, for my personal opinion, I kind of agree with him. It's like you wouldn't go back and repaint Mona Lisa, right? Why? Just it is what it is. It exists at that point in time where their head was, and to go and change it would be like admitting defeat, essentially, in my
I
opinion.
think that's what it is, admitting defeat. But
Yeah.
let's take another example. You know, a big band like Rush on Vapor Trails.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are pretty big. I mean, they're not small potatoes, Rush. And now I don't know if they could probably do just as well as Metallica on a different level, right?
Oh,
But
definitely.
they took Vapor Trails and the fans wanted a remix and they did it.
And it sounded great.
I'm sorry?
And it sounded great.
Yeah, it sounded great. I mean, it's not my favorite album, but the remix does sound, you know, if you like that album, it sounds good, right? I
Yeah.
mean, but Metallica seems to be a little more stubborn. I mean, why not, you know, if you're going to have 8 CDs,
Yeah.
I mean, why not just throw in 9? I mean, there's actually like something like 4 or 5 live shows, and you know, it's basically the same set list because at the time, it's more or
Yeah.
less the same set list, right?
That's
Why
right.
not just throw in one more just to make all the fans happy once and for all? Unless they're strategically planning on releasing the remix at another point in time. I don't know. But now let's go to the remaster. So what I did
Yeah.
is I took the remaster and I played it next to the sort of the first release of Metallica on CD. And
Ah, cool.
yeah, and I gotta say there wasn't much of a difference other than being a little more louder, you know. And I also found because it was remastered with a higher, when you remaster something, you usually get a the higher levels of the mix, the more treble side of stuff,
Yeah.
come out more. So I found it's more predominantly no bass. Like there's, like you can really hear that there's more no bass when you listen to
It's
it.
even worse.
It's even in a way it's even worse because at least with the first version there was enough I don't know muddy is the right word, but there was enough low level there
Lower
to sort of
frequency.
yeah, the frequency is the right word. There was more low frequency, but now as you remaster it, you're playing with the frequencies and you're getting more of a high end. So I was kind of like saying, what? It still sounds good. Don't get me wrong, but I would have done it another way. I don't know. I'm not
It
that
could be,
happy about it.
it could be the limitations of the technology too, because in the late 80s, you started to have bands experimenting with digital recording, Manowar, Scorpions. And I'm not sure if Justice was digital or analog or a combination. So maybe it was just the limitations of that digital technology where the computer couldn't duplicate those low bass frequencies that the human ear can hear and appreciate. It's hard to say.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? I'm just going to correct myself because K-Man does have the whole deluxe set. It's 11 CDs.
11, wow.
Yeah, and 4 DVDs. And you think they could have put like number 12 with the remix.
Devil's Dozen, yeah, it would have been perfect.
Yeah. And sort of Mustafa saying it isn't what it is. They deliberately deleted the bass, which is pretty sad. You know, like, you know, here comes Jason. You know, an excellent bass player, but this is an old argument. You know, K-Man also says it is a bit sharper. That's all, and I agree with that. It's not horrendous. Don't
Yeah.
I don't want to tell everybody it's horrendous. No, it is a little bit sharper, and when there's no bass, that little sharpness, you could even, you know, it becomes even more of a no bass kind of album. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's more pronounced.
Pronounce is the right word. Let me read some comments here, okay?
Yeah,
The only
please.
thing remarkable about this new version is a higher volume. Yeah, exactly. The more equalized frequency of the drums. From the bass, nothing, because the guitars and drums take away that space. Yeah, it's a fair assessment. Another guy says, Iron Hammer says, I didn't hear any difference. Then we got Rush didn't like the Vapor Trails. Sean Davis is saying it's really sharp. So a lot of people saying it's a little more sharper.
Yeah.
Johnny is saying Metallica know what we need, a remix version, not another remaster. Okay. K-Man James has said he is not into remixing. Mustafa saying Lars' ego is wrong. Lars' ego is wrong with that. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I guess. I don't know. Whatever that means. Iron Hammer saying, I think they remixed Seattle 89 show. So you know what you know where it's really worth it? It's really worth it in the live shows. Think about it. You're talking about, you know, the first 4 albums, right? Live. There's just this energy, you know, it's just, I mean, that's what made the band.
So, have you had a chance to hear some of the live stuff? Is there bass on the live shows? Is it
Yes,
coming through?
yes, there is, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. They just eliminated it on the original album,
Yeah.
on, you know, the album as we know it. So
I
yeah,
saw Metallica on this tour, and it sounded fine for my recollection all those years ago. The bass was
Yeah.
there live, so they couldn't take it away live.
I
So it's
mean,
just this one sort of glaring omission in their whole catalog. Well, maybe not the only glaring problem in their catalog, but one of the big ones.
yeah. It's just bizarre. Actually, they should just do a live album, playing all of Injustice, and then there's the bass problem is solved, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I mean,
And Robert would kill it on
yeah, Robert
bass.
would kill it. Yeah,
So
definitely, definitely, definitely. So that's pretty much it. I mean, that's all I can say about Metallica, unless you have any closing comments.
no, I think it's great. It's a gift to the fans. I have buddies who buy these monster box sets. It's not in my wheelhouse right now to go buy the ultra mega ones with all the bonus stuff, but they look fantastic and good value for the fans. And yeah, a great way to celebrate the 30th anniversary of a controversial but excellent album.
Have you heard of Master of Puppets? The one before,
Oh yeah,
the remastered of that?
yeah, it's great. It's all the great bonus stuff in there, demos and live and the interview and everything. It's like they're doing this remix reissue campaign, 30th anniversary reissue campaign. They're doing it top notch as Metallica always does.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, for Master of Puppets, I didn't really like the live shows. I found that they were very
Kind of demo-y sounding
kind of
almost.
demo sound, and they were sort of like a tape recorder sound. It was not really done as good as I guess, of course, the technology gets better over the years, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and those shows, I mean, they were probably just let's record it and see how it sounds. They weren't having a full mobile recording studio saying this is going to be a live album with proper microphone placement. They're probably like, let's just capture this and see what it sounds like later. And then when they go to the vaults, like, let's throw this out there for the diehard guys, and it sounds kind of muddy or underproduced, maybe, but the energy's there.
So that's pretty much it. Okay. So we got Ashes of Aries, Well of Souls, which I would probably put it at like an 8.3, 8.5 out of 10. That's just me.
8 point, that's pretty specific.
Yeah.
But that's awesome, though.
Yeah,
So
I really dug it.
your top 10 or top 20 of the year for sure, it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Nice.
And of course, we have Accept, Symphonic Terror. That's going to be coming out also. So Well of Souls is this week. The 23rd is Accept.
Yeah.
And of course, Metallica right now, it's out. And everybody who joined, let me just see if there's any last comments. There's a lot of comments I haven't read. And I guess I'm getting tired of talking. That's what it
Well,
is.
anyone wants to buy Jimmy the deluxe version of Justice for All box set for Christmas, you can contact him through the site.
There you go. All right, guys. Everybody, thank you for joining. And of course, Joshua Woods from metalrules.com. It's a fabulous website. You guys have been going on forever. You guys have been doing some great stuff over the years.
Thank you, thank you.
The owner and, of course, the editor, Mr. Joshua Woods, the one and only.
I'm going to throw this out there just so the owner doesn't get mad at me. I'm not the full owner. I'm just the managing editor.
All right, all right, all right, okay. Correction has been made.
The phone will be ringing and be like, what do you mean your website? You're fired.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And actually, I have an interview with Bruce Kulick. Bruce Kulick coming up.
Nice.
Bob, no, Bruce, Bob. Oh, I'm gonna get the phone's gonna ring for me too. Bob
Yeah.
Kulick, who's done like Kiss, and of course Meatloaf and Wasp. He's played out. He's played on so many great albums. I'm gonna
Do me
talk to
a
him.
favor. Ask him about that new Murderers Row reissue thing that just came out that he played on back in '93.
Yep, that's what I will. That's what we're gonna be talking about, as well as his history. All right, man. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Jimmy. Always a pleasure.
All right, man.